I was the very first color analyst who put out a color analysis video on TikTok. I was the very first one. And everyone looked at me like I'm crazy. They're like, why? Well, nobody's interested.
Who told you that? Other creators?
Not other creators, like people around me.
It's the people around you that's the problem. Welcome back to another episode of Creator Method. I am very excited about this episode, and I am going to jump straight in to my introduction, and you will see in just a couple of moments why I'm excited about this episode. Today, we're joined by Julia Dobkine, CEO and founder of Agile Styling, an international platform that has transformed the way people think about color and style. Julia is a certified image consultant, color expert, and style coach who has spent more than a decade refining her unique color analysis technique. She's worked with over 6,000 clients worldwide and styled celebrities like Zoe Deschanel, Chloe Fineman, Hoda Kotb, Savannah Guthrie, and even our very own Valeria Lipovetsky. Her expertise has been featured on NBC, The Today Show, Daily Mail, Who What Wear, and countless other outlets. And she's collaborated with global brands like Porsche, L'Oreal, NYX, General Motors, and Joe Fresh. With more than 160,000 Instagram followers, over 12,000 subscribers on YouTube, and over 210,000 followers on TikTok, Julia has become one of the most trusted voices in color analysis and personal style transformation. But beyond all of that, Julia is also a close personal friend of our family and one of the founding members of Creator Method, which makes this conversation even more special. She knows what it means to be a creator, thought leader, and entrepreneur. She also knows the perils of working closely with her husband as a content creator. And today we'll dive into her journey, her approach to building authority online, and the business of styling in the creator economy. Julia, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
You know, this is a very special episode for me, and for many different reasons. Because first of all, I want to talk about color analysis, but because, you know, before we started rolling, you told me that you're going to take me through a whole revamp of my hat collection, of my Creator Method hat collection. But, you know, more than that, we've known each other for many years. We were actually neighbors in Toronto before we moved here. So we've known each other for about 6 years now.
Yes.
And, you know, you were, you know, with us and we were with you during such difficult times, during COVID. Our kids grew up together. So I'm just really excited. You know, I feel like it's a real full circle moment for us and for our families.
Yes.
And my very close friend, Leon, Julia's husband, is here. So, you know, anyways, I'm just overjoyed that you're here. You're also here for Valeria's birthday party.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm so excited.
And so tonight we start at home with our family dinner.
Yes.
And then tomorrow we're going all out for her,
Looking forward.
for her celebration. So Julia, I want you to take me through, give me a high level understanding of color analysis, because I want to have that conversation first. So tell me, just give me the high level, make me understand, because I'm a man and, you know, we're kind of stupid in these things.
Okay. So color analysis is a system that is designed to help you choose your best colors. And what I do when I have my clients, they come in and I do my assessment, and then I provide them with a palette of colors.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a lot of different colors that all of those colors are going to look amazing on them. Color is the foundation of style. And I think each person, if they're working on their personal style and they're building their personal brand, they should start with choosing the right colors, especially content creators who are constantly on the camera.
Yeah.
Well, because good colors are going to make you look absolutely amazing and shiny, and like good colors are going to make you amazing and bright and like all glowing on camera, and bad colors are going to drain you and you're going to look patchy and washed out. So you really want to make a choice here what to wear. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits to it. There's confident shopping. There's like knowing what you wear every day is going to make you shine. And it kind of feels great from the perspective of feeling comfortable. And I always say, if you feel comfortable, you feel confident.
Okay.
And it like building a long-term wardrobe, it's efficient, it's for many years, and you don't have to follow these little trends and fashion, but you know that whatever you have in your wardrobe, whatever you're going to wear, your closet is working for you and not against you.
You know, I can attest to this because as someone who, like, you know, I like, you know, dressing up, and I mean, you may not think it because I'm now consistently wearing black t-shirts because I feel that that's my color, but okay. I feel we have to have another session.
Have a conversation.
We're gonna have a conversation, and we're gonna fix all that. But yeah, I mean, there are definitely certain times when I wear certain colors. I don't know what it is, especially like lately when I wear white. It just makes me feel like I'm 20 years older than I am. And I feel like for me specifically, maybe it's the color of my beard, the color of my skin. White makes me feel washed out. And even like light gray tones, when I wear dark tones, It just makes me feel better. When I even like red makes me feel weird because I feel like
There's just different tones of red.
it makes me red. It makes me like there's different tones of red.
Yeah, there's different tones of red.
So it's not just as simple as like here's like the whatever 10 primary colors. There's multiple tones within.
There's multiple tones. So in the system I use, we have 16 palettes.
Yeah.
And each palette, if you're gonna look at it, it looks very different one to another from the color perspective. But in general, each palette will have the same set of rainbow colors. The difference is the tonality. So I'm not just looking red for you and green for you. I'm looking for like the perfect tonality of all colors that will work for you. So that's like the nuances that we're working on. And when you're talking about white, there's certain colors, I call them color enemies. So I can pull off some colors that are not completely in my palette, but I know for sure there's certain colors, and I'm also talking about this in my color analysis with my clients, that I should completely stay away from. And I guess for you, it's white.
Well, maybe you'll definitely tell me.
But there's also different tonalities of white. So you can have like a warmer, creamier white. There's very like a blue white. There's a more neutral white. So there's like you can pick your own white that will work for you.
And so you, I guess, as part of the analysis that you do, you provide then a palette at the end, and then people can literally take them shopping and by eye see if it matches to the garment or whatever it is that they're considering buying.
Yes.
And let me ask you something. This is just, and you know, this may not be relevant, but like let's say for me, for example, I'll wear black t-shirts, but I'll wear like a different color pant. Is it the color as it pertains to your face? Or is there a connection between, let's say, the items that you wear on the lower part of your body? Is there a connection there?
Well, here's the thing. With color analysis, with the palettes, and I should have brought the palettes, all colors within the palettes, they are within the same color dimension. And so what it makes is like a perfect match in the outfit. So when you're creating outfits, all of the colors are going to talk to each other. They're not going to clash. They're just going to perfectly, very cohesively appear, and they're going to all complement you. If you're going to start playing around with colors like, oh, I'm going to wear black pants and like a top in my colors, it's still going to work. But in general, you might feel a little bit disbalance in your outfit. And I know for a fact, a lot of my clients who did color analysis like a few years ago, they start rolling into this harmony and they no longer do this. They just wear tops, they wear pants within their palette, looks cohesive, looks in balance, looks gorgeous, and they just love it. So yes, you may do it, but I mean, you just will not want to do it in a year after you do a color.
So let me ask you this. So the final product, after you do the analysis and you provide a palette, are you also providing information on how to match it up in the sense that you can match, let's say, like this color with this color and this color with this color, because, or is one palette universal? Meaning does every color match with every other color in that palette?
Yeah.
So as long as it's in that palette, whether it's a top or a bottom or a pair of shoes, it doesn't matter.
It's going to look cohesive. It's going to look stylish. It's going to look very elegant. All of the colors, they're going to like talk to each other.
Amazing.
And they're going to look cohesive in the outfit. So you don't have to think like, should I wear brown pants with like a white top or a green top? No, you just wear it and it works. I always say to my clients, you're going to walk into your closet. You're going to close your eyes in the morning because you're still sleepy. And you'll be like, pull two items from tops and the bottoms and they're going to work together.
That's huge.
Yes.
Because I struggle with that. I just gotta show you something right now. And I know what this is wrong, but I saw these pants and I bought them.
Okay.
And like these pants, I don't even know what color these are. And I just figured if I wear them with a black t-shirt, they'll be okay. But I'm pretty sure I'm making a mistake. Maybe not. I don't know.
And those are actually like, if I see it correctly from the light, they look like a warm gray to me.
Yeah, I don't even know what color this is.
It's like a light, warm gray. It has a touch of green in it. And like I developed the eye for the color with like so many years of experience. So it's like easy for me, but we're going to do your color.
We are. So a couple of things I want to mention, and I'm not saying this to like really pitch this, but I'm just coming to this like realization that from a money perspective, like I can't even say, and I'm a man, like I probably buy like, 1/10 of the amount of clothes that the women buy.
Oh yeah.
And I don't mean in a negative way, but I mean, it's just the reality. And for me, I can't even tell you how much stuff there's hanging in my closet that I don't wear because when I put it on, I'm just like, I don't like the way it looks on me.
It's black.
It looks weird. Or it doesn't match. Or I'm always struggling. Okay, if I'm wearing this color like shirt, what color pants can I wear? So you know how I do that?
Yes, I know exactly, because all of the clients who come to me, they come with exactly the same question. I have a full closet of clothes and I have nothing to wear. Like same concern, same problems. So you're not the only one.
Well, I just go to my wife. So what I'll do is I'll
Perfect.
put on an outfit
Yeah.
and I'll go to my wife and
Yeah.
I'll get her approval.
That's great. You have your
Except
wife.
my day to day. Like
Yeah.
this pair of pants is the riskiest thing I do on my own.
Okay.
Usually on my own, I wear like black, gray, maybe green. I know black and green is good, but I'm also a biker, so I get away with a lot of like, you know, kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So to me, I mean, in addition to the cost savings, there's obviously like the confidence that this builds.
Confidence and comfort.
And comfort. So, I mean, to me, it really does sound like an essential thing, but I also want to touch on it like with creators. So let me ask you this. I mean, you're obviously, you know, you're a creator at scale. Are you, and you know, you more than likely are on social media and you're watching other creators.
Of course.
What percentage of people are not doing this correctly in terms of showing up in the correct color for themselves?
My God, you're putting me on the spot. I don't know.
Are most of them not doing
okay,
it
I can
right?
tell you, Valeria, she knows her colors. Well, even before we did her color analysis, she was great. She was like always within her warm palette. And after the color analysis, I think she's like even more. Start embracing it. I would say there's a big percentage of people who don't know their colors. But also, what I feel sad about is content creators who do makeup. Because color analysis is not only for clothes.
It's makeup too.
Makeup, hair, accessories, jewelry, clothes, of course.
I saw, sorry to interrupt you, but I saw in some of your videos that you had clients who were going to go blonde and you said absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Yes. Yes. And I had my...
Were you blonde at one point?
Yes.
I saw the old pictures. Yes.
Horrible, huh?
And that's not your color. Or it is.
No,
it's not.
No, blonde is not my color. This is my natural color. I mean, I'm dyeing my hair right now, but it's like almost 1-to-1 to my natural color. But back to our conversation, what I feel bad about is like content creators who create makeup content and they're not picking the right colors for their makeup. And you know what else sad? I was just thought about it probably a couple of days ago. I had a client, she came to me and she's like, I bought every viral product, like makeup product, blush, lipsticks, etc. From TikTok. Influencers were constantly saying, this is the color that suits everyone.
And it doesn't.
And it doesn't. And she's like, I look like a clown. I look awful. I don't like it. And I'm like, why large brands, makeup brands, are promoting their product lines with one color only? They have 20 colors. Why are they sending those packages? And why are they making creators say that this is the only color and it works for everyone? Because it doesn't.
Well, I mean, they say that to make sales.
I understand, but why one color? You can sell your entire line.
Because it's probably less expensive for a manufacturer of these kind of cosmetics to make a single color and say this is universal for everyone. Because they don't have to
have the colors in the line. Right. So they create a line with like 15 different colors. But they send one color and they say, I don't know, maybe it's like, maybe you're right, maybe it's cost savings. But to be honest, I think they're losing customers. They're destroying the trust within because people don't understand that this is not a bad product. It's just a wrong color for them. For people, it's very mixed up in their head. They're like, oh my God, I tried this blush from, I don't know, a brand, and it didn't look good on me. So I'm no longer buying this particular brand. Do you see where I'm coming from? Right? So instead of doing this, send different colors for different creators. Encourage them to use the colors that are most complementary to them. And you're going to make the sales even like you're going to elevate your sales.
I think from a business, sorry to cut you off. I think from a business perspective, like setting up some kind of technology, for creators, it's one thing. Like a company can look at a creator and look at their, like, let me ask you this. Would you be able to look at someone's content on Instagram or YouTube or whatever and determine what their color palette is?
Well, I'll have to go a little deeper into my analysis, but just from a first sight, I can say this is working for them and this is not working for them.
So, you know, it'd be really interesting. And now I'm just I have my business hat on. And you may already be doing this, but it would be really interesting for you to, when you're doing some of your collaborations, either with a cosmetics company or a fashion brand or anything like that, to say to them, like, how about we do something where we create content with your customers and offer this as like some kind of a consultation, when eventually you can automate it. But I think that if you know, their kind of branding messaging to a potential client is something along the lines of, we have, you know, Julia Dobkine from Agile Styling, this expert color analyst, and we're going to match you up. Anyway, so there's something there.
There's something there.
But let me ask you, like, I noticed whenever I don't really go to department stores anymore, but I remember when I did, there would always be at the makeup counters, there'd be a makeup artist applying makeup to people. Were they doing color analysis, or they were just putting on makeup?
They do it very intuitively, and some of them have great intuition. They're applying right colors, and some of them don't. Even makeup artists, like it's sad to say, but a lot of makeup artists, they don't understand what they're doing. They have great techniques, they use amazing products, but color-wise, they don't have this intuition. They don't know, they don't have the knowledge, and they just apply trendy colors. Okay, this is a trendy blush, let's just do it. And I have a personal friend, and she's constantly struggling with like makeup. Before she did my color, she struggled with makeup before she did my color analysis, and now every time she hires a makeup artist, she's like, okay, use this and this colors on me. So she literally puts finger on each color because
this sounds like
hard.
it's like a real problem for women. And obviously, I never really contemplated this, but I can imagine that women on the, at least even like, okay, clothing is one thing, but on the makeup side, if they don't understand their color palettes and if they don't understand how to do this, like, I think you made a statement, and I don't want to sound like I'm offensive, but like, I think the clown look is real, because I notice, even I notice like women, I'll be like, their makeup looks completely off.
Yeah.
It's one thing to look unnatural, but it's that clownish, like that over exaggeration.
Overdone.
Yeah.
Which, and you know what's interesting? When you're using wrong colors, because colors do not look cohesive and in balance with your natural coloring, they're always going to look off. If you're using proper colors on yourself, colors that in balance with you, that are, you know, complementing you, even if you apply a lot of makeup, even if you overdo it, you will always look like very cohesive and stylish. It will never feel like you're off or overdone it. So that's like a very important point to make. Another thing, hair. Do you know how many women waste their money on hairstylist? And right now it's like very expensive.
Yeah.
If I would go blonde, I would probably will have to pay like $500 to $700 for the whole procedure. Waste their money on something they don't love afterwards. This is huge problem.
So taking that palette in with them?
Not only palette, because I provide recommendations. So each palette has a recommendation for makeup, for hair, and they know that if they will follow palette's recommendation, they will always get a nice result. So they will bring it with them and say to a hairstylist, not just do something on me, just make me look pretty. But you know what? I want this particular brown with this particular highlights, maybe a lot of highlights, maybe a little bit. So there's always this personalized approach that a lot of people just don't do. And especially like hairstylists, you show them the picture and they're like, okay, let's jump on it. They're creative. They want to do it all. But if it's going to work or not,
okay.
we don't know.
I want to jump into your kind of professional journey and what got you to the point of deciding I'm going to be a content creator.
Oh,
because I think, well, no, was it me really?
Well,
I think you've been a creator. When did you start? Because I'm thinking, was it before we met or was it after we met? Were you dabbling?
It's very interesting because I started before we met, but I never considered myself, I'm creating content. I'm like, I'm putting stuff out there. I don't want to say I'm promoting my business, but like I'm putting awareness about colors, and it was very, very light at that time.
You were more of a hobbyist.
It was, the content creation definitely was not part of my business.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was just like, I had my business, I had my clients, and then I was like,
sorry, you had your color analysis clients.
Yes.
How were you getting those clients?
Word of mouth.
Okay.
And there were only one.
But you have a formal, like there's some kind of a formal certificate that you hold, or no?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, so how did you get that?
So I got it. I went to an image consulting school.
Okay.
I got my certification. So I'm not only color analyst, I'm also like image consultant. And
but I want to back up for a second.
Yes.
I want to back up for a second because I think there's like a broader kind of story I want to dig into.
Sure.
What were you doing before? I know the answer. But
I've been 20 years in IT.
Right. But specifically, you worked for a large company.
I worked for a large company.
Right.
I managed large scale projects.
Right.
It has nothing to do.
But you were very corporate, is what I'm saying.
I was very corporate.
Okay, so now I want to ask you, and if it's too personal, then feel free to say, Gary, no. But at what age did you decide you wanted to stop being? Because I'm assuming that there was a period of time where you were in between being corporate, like having your job for practical financial reasons, and switching over full time. How old were you when that happened?
I think I was around 33.
33. That's really important for me.
Yeah.
It's really important because I want people to understand, and I want creators to understand that you can be a corporate professional and you can be educated with, a university degree in corporate, whatever, a master's in business, and, working for a big corporation, which is great. And that's the path for a lot of people. But what I really admire about you is that at the age of 33, you have a stable, lucrative corporate job that I'm guessing wasn't fulfilling you.
Yes.
And you said, I'm going to go and do color analysis and be an image consultant, which is obviously your true passion. And as you respond to what I'm saying, I can see in your eyes and in your facial expressions that this is truly your passion.
It's truly my passion.
You're living your dream.
Yes.
Which I'm very happy for you for.
Thank you.
That's why I'm trying to get, and it's specifically women. I work pretty much exclusively with women when it comes to like talking about content creation. And I want them to understand that at the age of 33, which is, by the way, still very young, but I feel like
44 right now.
No, I understand. Well,
right?
I thought you were younger than that, but okay. But that's the thing. So at 33, you started down this path. And so what was the period of time when you were doing both? You were doing both the corporate, you were in the corporate world?
Many years.
Okay. So how many years was that from when you started at 33 to then when you said, that's it, I am now full-time a creator or an analyst or like image consultant?
Probably like 9 years.
So for 9 years.
Yes.
So from the age of 33, okay, so from the age of 33 to 42, now you're 44. So you've been full-time for 2 years. But I also want to point out, so when you and I met about 6 years ago, when you and I met, when our families met and we were neighbors in Canada, when we met, you were still doing corporate full-time, and then you were part-time doing this.
No, it was full-time and full-time.
Okay, so and with 2 kids.
Yes, and his husband.
And with husband. But with a husband who, okay, so then the other question, see, I get excited about this part of the conversation because I want people to understand. I want people who are considering doing this to understand, and I want people who are doing it to understand.
Totally.
So then you, at some point financially, it made sense for you to say, okay, I'm now leaving the corporate world behind, which I'm sure that was a massive relief for you.
Yes.
Because now you're... It was what? Sorry.
Very, very hard.
Well, it was against who you are. You're a creative.
But it was also like I was working beyond my capacity.
Because you had 2 full-time jobs and then a 3rd full-time job raising a family.
Of course.
Right. Okay. So you've been doing content creation essentially full-time for 11 years. Just you've been doing content creation by itself only 2 years full-time.
No. I've been doing content creation since 2019 or 18.
So that's okay. Sorry. So I got my timelines mixed up.
Yeah.
So you were doing the corporate thing. Let's go by your age.
Okay.
Let's go. So at 33, you got a corporate job.
Yes.
No. Yes.
I still had a corporate job for many, many years.
When did you start in your corporate job? In your 20s, I assume.
In my 20s, yes.
Okay. So you started your corporate job in your 20s. When did you start content creation? You started doing when you're 33. And then simultaneously you did content creation and the corporate job, 2 full-time gigs.
And I was doing color analysis and trying to put the business together.
Got it. And so then from the age of 33, you're doing both. You're doing 2 things, right?
Yes.
And so now you're going forward, you're doing these 2 things. And then at what age did you stop doing the corporate thing?
Approximately 2 years ago.
Right. So from 33 to 42, you were doing both. Yes. And then from 42 onward for the last 2 years, you've been full-time doing this. Yeah. And in that period of time, if you recall the introduction that I was making, you have 160,000 on Instagram, you have 12,000 on YouTube, and 212,000 on TikTok. Yeah. And you have a full-time lucrative job.
Yes.
Okay. And if I may say, your husband works with you full-time as well.
Right now, well, I would say like 90%. Yeah.
Well, that sounds pretty full-time to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you kind of think about your journey, I mean, it's quite incredible. So when you decided, what was the catalyst that made you decide to do it, like to drop the corporate job? It was mostly financial. When you saw that there was enough.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So that's the dream, guys. So I mean, when we're talking to when we're talking to like members, non-members, people who are like of Creator Method, people who are considering this, understand that this is possible. Because what I want to point out, is what the alternative would have been. So the people who are sleeping on this opportunity of fulfilling their dreams, of doing what they actually love. And I'm not saying everybody should do it, but if you want to do it, you should do it. If you wouldn't have done this, you'd be much more senior in the corporate world.
Yeah, maybe.
But at 44, you're still very young. So when I start thinking about how your career is going to be when you're my age, which is, 9 years from now, I'm almost 53. Imagine if you would have stayed in the corporate world, what your life would have been, and now add 9 years from where you are today, from the scale that you can build from where you are now. And imagine what your life's going to be at 53. If you're living the dream now, you're going to be even more living the dream. You're excited, right?
I'm very excited.
I want to transfer this excitement to the people who are listening.
I'm very excited.
Specifically to either, again, Creator Method members or not Creator Method members who are feeling stuck, who are feeling like I'm putting out content, it's not working, or they're getting lazy. Like, you have to keep going.
You have to, well, first of all, you have to keep going. But second of all, I think it's important to understand, especially for business owners, if you're not going to do content, you're not going to scale your business.
Correct.
Right? Because when you ask me the question about how did I start, so for several years, I was doing one-on-one client consultations, word of mouth. I did not have this exposure. I started having exposure, I'll tell you around COVID time.
Yeah.
During COVID time. Why? Because I started scaling on my content. So I became very dedicated to put content out there. I was the very first color analyst who put out a color analysis video on TikTok. I was the very first one. There was no color analyst at that time. So, and everyone looked at me like I'm crazy. They're like, why? Well, nobody's interested. Look, they're all like, they're just like jumping and doing transitions right now.
But do you know why they were telling you that? Who told you that? Other creators?
Not other creators, like people around me.
Yeah, people around you. It's the people around you that's the problem, right? Because when you listen, but I have to say, and I don't want to take any credit for your success because it's 100% you and like 0% me. But I remember those late nights when, I'd come over and we would sit down with Valeria and with Leon. And I was just like, but I'm aggressive, I'm like, Julie, we got to do this. We got, you got to put out this. How much content are you putting out? That's how much content. No, you got to put out more content. You got to do, And so I'm infinitely happy for you. I've always been following your career. How did you get Zoe Deschanel, who's like a AAA celebrity? How did this come about? And hold on, sorry, I apologize. I'm just excited.
No.
And I want to provide the context. You are in Toronto. You're in a suburb of Toronto. You're in Canada.
Yes.
And you got like a very big global star.
Yes.
I just want to show people that it doesn't matter where you are and what you're doing. You can, but I want to know how you did that.
Through Instagram. So I saw that she followed me and I saw that she started liking my videos.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember, either it was me or somebody from my team reached out to her saying, hey, Zoe, we see that you're on our page, Do you want to do a color analysis? And she's like, yes, I'll be so excited. So long story short, we agreed on a time and date and we did it.
And you flew to her?
Yes.
She was in LA, I assume.
Yes.
Okay.
At that time, I already had a couple of large collaborations and I had, so I put it several days of like collaboration shoots.
Okay.
So
you lined it up. You did like a sprint.
I lined it up. Yeah. So I lined it up with another few creators. And at the same trip, I did Zoe Deschanel color analysis. I did a podcast and I did another 2 color analysis for large creators. It was a great collaboration. It was such a great trip.
Of course. And I just want to point out that this all comes from creating content consistently, iterating on it, making sure that it's, trying to make it better, doing, community management, all of the things that we always talk about. So, I mean, that's incredible. And that's just such a good example because it's things like that that lead to such bigger opportunities in content creation.
Totally.
So you've made a very successful transition into getting onto TikTok. So from a tactical perspective, is it the same content that you're simply syndicating or are you creating specific content for TikTok?
Unfortunately not. I know I should have.
I don't think it's unfortunate. It is the same?
And I'll tell you why. Because I've been doing my analysis lately and I see that TikTok changed drastically. From the time I joined TikTok in 2020, and at that time, I actually had only TikTok. I had my Instagram. It was very small and I had no followers there, like 500 maybe 1,000. I don't remember. But TikTok started to grow very rapidly and was great. Like the community started to build, people started to be very interested in my services. So I started getting lots of international clients. I work worldwide now. So then this TikTok shifted to a little different strategy with regards to like promoting different content.
Yeah.
And
we saw it too, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
And so at that time, my Instagram picked up. It was like, great. So I'm like, okay, TikTok, you can, sleep for a while. I'm going to touch base later. But like I was focusing on my Instagram at that time. And then when I really kind of saw a dip on TikTok, I'm like, TikTok is not growing like at all.
Yeah.
I start doing the research and I realized that the content I was putting before is no longer serves. Like I need to put a little different type of content on TikTok. And I'm still working on it because I mean, it's it's work, right? So it's like different.
But you're not getting as much reach on TikTok.
I'm not getting as much.
So we have the same thing with Valeria.
Okay.
So I have a theory about that, and I wouldn't mind like just getting into this.
Sure.
When COVID happened, Valeria had a surge on TikTok. So same with you. And simultaneous to that surge, a lot of people came over and then started following on Instagram. Right? So that's what happened. And I believe that's what happened with you too.
Yes.
And then what happened is as time went by and that kind of that big surge from COVID started to recede on TikTok. And I do believe that things changed over there. But that, I don't think it's so much, I mean, it's partly an algorithm thing, but I think it's also a cultural thing. The people who are on TikTok, who are also following Larry on Instagram, they're engaging on Instagram and not on TikTok. So that's kind of how I feel. And I also feel like with TikTok, their content is more, if I think of the way I use TikTok, it's more like a guilty pleasure for me.
Maybe.
I go to Instagram when I want to feel like I'm smart, when I want to, you know what I mean? Like when I feel like I want to learn about things that are important. And I go to TikTok when I just want like kind of stupid entertainment.
And that's why I said that I would prefer to create a little different content for TikTok and a little different from Instagram. I just need a little more time for all this.
You know what? I think that as much as there's like, it's a really popular theory that you need to be on all of these different platforms. And I agree that you should have presence on multiple platforms, but I also believe that you should manage your own expectations when it comes to different platforms.
And whatever suits you. For instance, can I give you an example from my? So I have, and we've been doing analytics and running statistics about this. So majority of my clients are coming from Instagram.
Sure.
I have probably 3% of my clients who came from TikTok.
No, of course.
So where will I double down? Instagram.
No, of course.
Right?
No, you're absolutely right.
I need to monetize the content.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Look, I think that judging by the way that I consume content, I'm in a different mindset depending on the on the platform that I'm at, right? Yeah. So to me, it's just I don't feel fussed when I look at Valeria's data and I look at the platforms that she's stronger on, which is Instagram, and when I see that despite having a lot of followers on TikTok, there's not a lot of average
community.
It's not a community. They're more like transient, the people there. Like they see her in the For You page and they're like, and they're either in or and they're out. But to your point, but I'm not fussed about it because I know other creators who are huge on LinkedIn and they don't have a lot of engagement on either Instagram or TikTok. Because once you get huge on a platform, that means that the demographic of the platform, and not only the demographic, but also the mindset that the person is in, it's there, and that's fine, and I'm okay with that. Is it risky? Yeah, it's a little risky. It is a little risky when you're dominant on one platform, but I feel like it's a risk worth taking to double down on that kind of the platforms that really do it for you. So to your point, I mean, you're right now syndicating, and so are we, and continue to do so.
And I love my community on Instagram. Those are like
of course
really my people.
Those are your diehards.
Yeah, this is like amazing people. We talk. I respond to DMs. It's usually myself. I respond to comments as much as possible. So I love this community.
What are your top performing formats on Instagram? Let's continue talking about Instagram.
So my top performers, because I'm mainly focusing on color analysis, it's the little consultations.
Yeah. Oh, I saw that. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to follow along as you're talking about it.
It's like showing people good versus bad colors. And lately it's been my styling. So I style myself in my colors, and while I'm styling myself, I'm just telling a good, tip or like
beautiful
doing advice or something. So those are doing great. Also carousels. I think carousels. I would say carousels is my top performer, to be honest.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think carousels are top performers for your community, and I think when you look into your insights, the percentage of the people that don't follow you are going to be lower than on Reels, because I believe Reels is getting you kind of.
It means the other way around. Carousels are going more viral.
Okay.
Reels are going more into my audience.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Where are you at in terms of your growth? Like, what are maybe some of your blockers? Like, I want to be able to help. So tell me about what challenges are you facing?
So I think right now at the stage where I'm very comfortable and consistent with color analysis content. What I want to do is grow my personal brand more so people will actually get to know more of Julia Dobkine.
I agree. You're reading my mind. Okay.
Yes. So, and this is why I started putting the styling videos where I talk to people But then what I also feel that people who are on my Instagram, they're like more focused on my tips and professional advices for color analysis.
Yeah.
And when I start doing something personal, they're like, nah, whatever. If I'm putting like a carousel with my own styling, I went on vacation, here's me, here's my family, and they're like, yeah, whatever.
Sorry, how are you judging that? Yeah, whatever. Because the data on it is
Amount
low?
of views, amount of likes, and amount of engagement in the comments.
Okay, so I just categorically and respectfully disagree with you.
Okay.
Right? So you're at a scale right now where you can be unapologetic about the content that you put out because you're in control. You're the boss. You don't have like this, you don't have like a Hollywood agent who's telling you this is what to do and what not to do, right? So you run the show. So really the only people that you have to answer to, not that you really have to answer to them, is your community. So the way that you potentially look at it, whereas let's say, for example, on average, your content reaches 100,000 like people, let's say as an example, but when you put out the personal stuff, it only reaches 20,000 people. So when you're looking at that data, you're looking at that 80,000 who didn't engage as a loss. I'm looking at the 20,000 who did as a win.
I agree. And I agree.
Right? Because those 20,000 people now feel closer to you.
Yeah.
And it's just, I feel, a matter of time before the rest will catch up.
Yeah.
So may I make some recommendations?
Of course.
Okay. So on your, first of all, you're saying that you want it to be more, like you want to develop your personal brand more. Yes. And I believe you and I have talked about it in the past. How open are you, or what do you think about changing your handle from Agile Styling, it's Agile_styling, to Julia Dobkine?
I actually created a separate account for Julia Dobkine.
Okay.
And again, maybe it's not right, but it is. I did it for a reason that I want the Agile Styling to focus on the business, and I want Julia Dobkine account to focus on my personal, journey.
Okay.
On me. So I'm still right now, honestly, it's just like a void account. It's that account. I'm not doing anything there. Sure. So I'm still putting my personal content on Agile styling. And then I want to start the Julia Dobkine really badly.
Okay.
I really want to start it. Probably because my business is my business and my personal life is something else. I don't know. It's in my mind. It's probably in my mind. And I know you're going to criticize me for this, but we're
okay to disagree. Yeah. It's okay. We don't always have to agree. So here's the analogy I want to give you. I want to give you an analogy. When you are considering selling your home, it's like a big deal, right? Selling your home, typically it's people's biggest asset. It's, you don't want to mess it up because it's a really important transaction. And so let's say most of the time people just deal with their friend. But in some cases, people will have meetings with 3 different realtors.
Right.
And 90% of the conversation they have with the realtor is about the market, their knowledge of the market, their skills as negotiators. It's that realtor is pitching the homeowner or the seller on why they should be the realtor because of all of this industry knowledge that they have. That's 90% of the conversation. 10% of the conversation is small talk.
Yeah.
Okay. When you choose your realtor, which part of the conversation, the 90 or the 10, are you using to make the decision on who to work with?
For me, the 90.
Okay. So I make it as a combination of the 90 and the 10. So if the 90 to me is on point, but I don't like that person, then chances are I won't work with them.
I agree.
So that 10 is really important. That 10, it plays a large role in it. So my suggestion to you, despite your analysis of the content that it doesn't perform as well, is I would do a couple of things. So I will go on the record to say I believe you should change your main account to Julia Dobkine. And with Agile Styling,
because I love Agile Styling. It's
my
baby.
I understand.
I'm not getting rid of it.
No. I'm not saying to get rid of it. I'm making a comparison to kind of what, like, we have this triangle of Valeria's personal brand, my account, and then we have Creator Method. And then we're constantly putting up content that, let's say, I'll put up something that's relevant to Creator Method. So I'll tag Creator Method as a collaborator, and then Creator Method. And then we're doing that thing across, like, sometimes it'll go from here to here, and then here to here, here to there, here. And we're just strategically doing that as we go. So for you, I see, what's that?
It's like a vertex.
Yeah. It's like you're strategically like tagging and accepting. And sometimes you're not tagging.
Yeah.
Right. So if I put up something about like today, I did a little thing wishing Valeria happy birthday. I'm going to put it up as a reel. That's not going to be, Creator Method won't be tagged as a collaborator because it's not relevant there. Right. But I feel that the fuel for the business comes from the personal brand. You have been using, your fuel comes from the business with a smaller focus on the personal brand.
But you know what? I also think that there's a lot of me in my content. like I talked, like even on my conversations and on my little consultations,
Yeah.
like I'm there, I'm present. It's not that I'm showing products without my face. There's always my face there. So I always talk and people respond to this. So I'm kind of there, I think.
Yeah.
It's just when I'm saying I want to put more of my personal brand, it's like probably what I like my vacations, my conversations with kids and stuff like this. And I'm going to get there. I'm almost there.
Fair. No, that's fair. That's fair. What I would suggest on your profile is I would suggest your profile picture be a professional headshot zoomed in on your face.
I will. I actually did a new photo shoot.
Because you're too far away right now.
Yeah,
you're too far away. It feels generic. The other thing I wanted to suggest to you in terms of the bio and the copy in the bio, I always like to lead with the value proposition followed by the credentials. So celebrity color analyst and stylist, that's descriptive of what you do, but you're not. I don't feel it's portraying the benefit of your the benefit of your service is all of the things we talked about at the beginning when we sat down. It's the confidence, it's looking good, it's all of that. So my suggestion to you would be to use ChatGPT to kind of come up with wording that's more descriptive of what the benefit is.
I know exactly what you mean.
You can maybe add through color, through correct colors, but the way it is now, I don't know why do I need a color analyst?
Yeah.
Right. So I would just change that. I like your second, like 11 plus years. I would probably combine 11 plus years with over 6,000 clients. I would probably do that as one line.
One line.
As one line.
Okay.
When you have 16 seasons analysis, that I know is the description of what you're doing. But would you say most people know what that is?
I think so.
Do they?
People who land on my page, they're actually looking for.
They're actually looking for. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's what I think you should do on the, from a formatting perspective for the bio.
Okay.
Do you have any questions about your formats themselves?
I think what I'm working on right now is actually putting this pillars of content, and formats of content that will help me pivot into my get into a little bit of personal brand.
Sure.
So if you have any ideas, I'll love to hear.
Look, again, I think you and I probably just we may not agree on the integration. Like you believe, I think, more in a separation from the business and your personal brand.
I think so.
So, and I don't, and that's fine. And we can, and I'm cool with that. I'm cool if if we disagree on that. I've just, from my experience, and not to say that the way I'm doing it is the right way, because it could be a different solution for every person. However, we built Valeria's personal brand, and then we started building businesses as kind of as offshoots of her personal brand. And then we were able to scale. So I feel like with you, there's a lot of you in agile styling.
Yeah.
There's a through line there for sure.
Yeah.
I personally would still have agile styling, but I would even actually not, and maybe the compromise would be not even to create a second account.
Yeah.
But I would still just change your username still to Julia Dobkine.
Okay.
And then I would talk about agile styling, like owner of agile styling, in the text in the bio.
Okay.
That's what I would do from a packaging perspective.
Okay.
So it's still, and then what I would do then is I would make maybe 20% of your content the personal stuff.
Yeah,
that's what I would do. So
right now I'm probably doing like 10, maybe even less.
But I would even ask, it's not just a matter of quantity, it's a matter of what is that subject matter on the personal side, right?
And you know what else I noticed? Remember I told you when my Instagram my TikTok was quiet and my Instagram went up? I noticed there's a lot of people joined at that time, but they were not yet at the community level. They were just
they weren't engaging.
They were not engaging. They were okay, looking at my content. And now, several years after, I start seeing this engagement and conversation.
They got older.
It takes time.
They got older. They became more mature. And I know, but so I believe that it's supporting my point that you should integrate more into your existing account. I just think I think you're too close to the numbers. Yeah. I think you're letting the numbers kind of define.
Sometimes I do.
I don't. Yeah, that's right.
I do.
So look, I'll tell you what it is. Valeria and I, we have a difference of opinion on this as well. Whereas Valeria, she's more tied into the numbers. And if she's different now than she was before, she's come more my way. But for me, when I post to my account, I don't care. I just don't care.
Because can I say something? You're not monetizing on products and services that you provide. I do. So for me, it's important that.
How about creator method? Of course, I monetize through the products and services.
True.
I'll tell you really what I think the difference
Okay.
is. I'll tell you what the difference is. Valeria's account, the primary monetization of Valeria's account to this day, and it is going to change as creator method continues to scale, but the primary monetization method is brands. And so for her, the optics of when a marketing decision maker who's working at a brand or at an agency who's tasked to find a creator, what do? They go, and we have relationships. So I've had these conversations. They go in, they look at kind of the cohesiveness of the bio. They make sure it looks professional. Everything looks nice and clean, and like people, and they understand what this person's kind of mission and value proposition is. Then they go into the Reels tab and they look at the average views per video. They look for not so much grid aesthetic. They look for grid continuity, right? So then they look at the average views per video. Then they'll go into each piece of content and see if the content like kind of resonates, if there's a through line with all the content. And then they look at if there's engagement, like the engagement numbers on a per reel or per carousel basis. And then they look at if you're responding back. And so with Valeria, it matters that every video, if Valeria's grid, let's say her Reels grid where the view count is seen,
Right.
if it was like a checkerboard of like 500,000, 5,000, 800,000, 10,000.
It's like
as an
disconnect.
advertiser, an advertiser would look at that and be like,
weird.
I'm not sure about her.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. The numbers there's no consistency in that.
Yeah.
That's when you're monetizing from external sources like a brand advertiser. When you're monetizing directly from your audience, they don't care.
No.
They're not doing that analysis. That's why I think that when you're monetizing directly through the products and services that you provide, it's actually more forgiving. And then it
Interesting theory. Thank
well,
you.
no, because
good
then
perspective.
Well, then it becomes if your average video, let's say, gets 40,000 views, right? And is what I was mentioning before, and then you put up a video that only gets, let's say, 5,000 views. I'm not looking in your scenario that it's a negative that you didn't get those 35,000. I'm looking at the positive of the 5,000 that did come through.
But you're looking from content perspective. I'm looking from, again,
I'm looking for connection perspective.
And totally get it. But I know for a fact, so if I had a day where 2 of my videos did not perform, I'm going to have a dip in those, like in
I know,
me.
because you're looking at the day. Whereas I'm trying to get you to, I'm trying to get kind of, not just you, but everybody, I'm trying to change the kind of narrative. Be looking as like, what does 55-year-old Julia's career look like? And when you're mapping to that long-term goal, the short-term takes care of itself. I'm okay. It's interesting because now that we're mapping audience data in terms of them reaching out to us to become members on Creator Method.
Yeah.
We have a consistently good flow of applicants on a daily basis.
Right.
And then we might have, let's say, 2 or 3 days where it just really gets lower. Like it goes down by 80%.
Yeah.
And the team will contact me and say, Gary, we need to make a pivot. We need to change something. And I say, no, we don't. We just need to stay consistent. And I came up with an analogy today.
Okay.
And you might think it's nonsense, but I don't know. Maybe you don't get excited. Maybe it'll sound like bullshit to you. But I look at that response that you're getting from your audience or from people, or it's not only your audience, by the way. It could be non-followers too who are reaching out to you. Anybody who's reaching out to you, let's say, just looking at Instagram alone, I compare it to waves on the beach. And here's how I compare it to waves on the beach. You can't predict with any certainty the frequency and the power of the waves, the frequency and, let's say, the height of the waves.
True.
You cannot predict it. You can't predict it on a micro, meaning there are so many different things that are happening, the weather, the ocean, the angle of the sun, there's a million things that you don't know.
Yeah.
But every now and then you have like a macro event. So there'll be like a seabed earthquake that's reported that everybody knows, and it creates a high frequency of like huge waves. And so what's happening is when you're tying in daily content performance to your inflow, I just disagree with that, because once you do it over long periods of time and you're not scrutinizing every single piece of content, it's like trying to predict the waves in the ocean.
I like this perspective.
So I zoom out.
Analogy.
Yeah, I zoom out.
Yes.
So when the team comes to me and they say to me, we have a problem because it's been 3 days of low applications.
Yeah.
I say, we don't have a problem.
Yeah.
I say, stay consistent with the content, iterate on the quality, try to get more views, but don't worry if we don't have to make pivots because for 2 days applications went down. And guess what? They always come back up.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
That's a good perspective, and thank you for sharing that.
Of course, but
It's very
you're
good.
welcome. But I want to just go back to the main point, is that if you allow yourself, if you are more forgiving on the daily views or the daily reach of each piece of content, it opens you up and this is all tying back to integrating your personal brand more, it opens you up to creating formats and scaling formats that you would have stopped. And I have an example. When we first started Valeria's podcast about 3 years ago, we started taking short clips from Valeria's podcast and we started putting it into our like Valeria's reels on her main Instagram.
Yes.
And they would like fail as compared to her outfit videos. And she came to me and she said, oh my God, like it's failing. I'm like, no, it's not. And she goes, Gary, like we usually get 500,000 views on a video. This thing's getting 50,000 views. I go, because it's brand new and you're not giving it a fair chance. And now it gets hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of views. And now the podcast is a success. But if we would have taken that logic, just like you're saying, like because the personal content isn't performing as well as your, quite frankly, like these viral like color palette, of course they're not going to perform as well. It's brand new. You need to get people conditioned to it. Yeah. So all I'm suggesting is that I would put in like a certain like commitment. I wouldn't even look at it as a percentage. As cool personal stuff comes up, just put it in because you can't force it anyways. Right? Like today I was sitting with the kids at the breakfast table and they said something funny and cute. So I put it in. I'm not counting it. Anyways, that's my take.
Oh, I agree. I completely agree.
And I also believe you'll get way more scale in terms of your overall audience metrics will scale in terms of followers and views if you have that personal element. I'm just trying to talk you away from splitting it up into two. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's, you know, it's on you. Do you have any other questions or is there anything else? Because I want to be able to provide you with as much value as possible.
You know what? You've been so helpful throughout my journey. So many advices and valuable pieces of information that I received. And sometimes it took me really long time to process them. I have to be honest. Because we always have resistance at first when you receive
Which is okay.
Which is okay. But like I think the good point about this, if you are getting piece of advice, even if it's kind of does not align with like your core beliefs at that particular time, we all change, right? We evolve. So I'm always taking your pieces of advice, and even if I cannot process them, I'm storing them, and then I just like, yeah, Gary told me this.
But I want you to know that I don't have an ego about it.
No,
I don't. Like I'm just my goal is to help, right?
Yes.
I'm just very it's my pleasure.
I'm really grateful for this.
No, it's my pleasure. But I just want you to know that if you or anyone else disagrees with me, I never get offended.
Oh.
Because unless we have those differences of opinions, you know, there are people within our company who are always challenging me, but I welcome that because otherwise, I'm like, how are we supposed to grow?
And that's perfect because this is how you change people and this is how you change and evolve with others.
And this is how I evolve and this is how I get better at what I do. Julia, I really want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming to Miami for Valeria's birthday and for doing this podcast. And just for your support.
It's my pleasure.
You've always been so supportive and welcoming of our family. And anyways, I love you guys. I love you and I love Leon. And let's go. Now we're going to the house because we're going for the family dinner tonight.
Amazing.
Okay. Thanks,
so
guys.
Happy. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Julia.
Bye.